Stalker is a thrilling experience for every gamer. The original trilogy became a cult classic, amassing a dedicated but niche following. Driven by their passion, GSC Game World aimed to create the ultimate sequel, but faced relentless challenges, from financial struggles to the very real death of its lead developers. I remember spending countless hours exploring Stalker's world as a 13-year-old boy, so returning to the Chernobyl Exclusion Zone feels unbelievable. It's the perfect moment to dive into the franchise's history and honor the resilience of its creators. I'm the game's guru. Let's start the game. In the year 2001, Ukrainian studio GSC Game World, led by Sergei Grigorovich, sought to create a game that would stand out in a rapidly growing industry. Founded in 1995 in Kyiv, GSC had made modest contributions to the gaming world, but was determined to craft something that would change the gaming landscape. The team, young and ambitious, wanted to create a game that would blend atmospheric storytelling, open-world exploration, and survival mechanics, elements not commonly found together in that era. The project, initially titled Oblivion Lost, was originally envisioned as a futuristic shooter set in a sci-fi universe. The concept was deeply inspired by the 1972 sci-fi novel Roadside Picnic that envisioned a world transformed by mysterious alien visitation zones, scattered with anomalous phenomena and dangerous artifacts. Stalkers were illegal explorers and scavengers, risking their lives for these valuable artifacts. The novella found its way to the big screen through Andrei Tarkovsky's 1979 film Stalker. It not only became a cult classic, but also created a new protagonist archetype, the Stalker, a lone survivalist who braves dangerous, strange places, driven by purpose and inner strength. These elements had become the core of Oblivion Lost, but the team struggled with creating a quality sci-fi world. They began to look for more inspiration and soon were captivated by the real-world Chernobyl Exclusion Zone. The haunting, irradiated landscape of Chernobyl, filled with abandoned structures and lingering danger, was a perfect match for the dark, post-apocalyptic theme GSC wanted to explore. But as their vision expanded, so did the challenges. The team faced massive technical hurdles as they aimed to create a living, breathing open world, a feat that had never been done at the scale they envisioned. They built their own game engine from scratch to accommodate complex features like dynamic weather and AI system that would allow NPCs to react independently from player. This level of ambition came at a cost. Development delays became frequent, and financial strain weighed heavily on the studio. Internally, the team was driven by a shared passion for storytelling and immersion. The developers worked grueling hours, driven by a desire to create something that would resonate with players on a deep emotional level. The project's scope, however, continued to grow, and with it, pressure mounted. Deadlines slipped, and whispers of vaporware surrounded the project. Grigorovich himself remained steadfast, refusing to abandon his dream of creating a genre-defining experience. The game was finally released in March 2007 and marked a turning point for GSC Game World and for gaming in general. After a grueling development cycle filled with technical challenges, delays, and ambition almost beyond reason, the game was finally in the hands of players. It was a raw, immersive experience set in the heart of the Chernobyl Exclusion Zone, capturing the brutality of survival and the mystique of the zone. Shadow of Chernobyl blended FPS gameplay with survival horror and RPG elements, offering players unprecedented freedom to explore a dangerous, unpredictable world. At launch, the game was far from perfect. It was plagued by bugs, stability issues, and optimization problems that frustrated many, but despite its rough edges, Shadow of Chernobyl quickly gained a dedicated following. Within its first year, it sold more than 1 million copies worldwide, an impressive feat for a game from a small Eastern European studio. Its impact was felt strongly across two different spheres. In Eastern Europe, Stalker became a cultural phenomenon, resonating deeply with players familiar with the legacy of Chernobyl and the post-Soviet atmosphere, and starting a full literature franchise with over 80 entries that became no less iconic. The game's stark realism, depiction of hardship, and sense of danger spoke to a shared cultural memory, making it more than just a game. It was a representation of a history and region scarred by disaster and shaped by resilience. Players from Ukraine, Russia, and neighboring countries embraced the game's bleak beauty, turning the Stalker franchise into a point of pride and a cultural touchstone. Meanwhile, in the Western gaming community, the game was celebrated for its innovation and ambition. It stood out in a market dominated by linear, heavily scripted shooters, offering something unique: a living, breathing world filled with emergent gameplay, dynamic AI, and unpredictable encounters. Western players appreciated the game's hardcore survival mechanics, where every bullet was precious, and the zone felt like a truly hostile place. Shadow of Chernobyl's open-ended design and bleak, atmospheric storytelling left a lasting impression, influencing countless developers and serving as a precursor to modern open-world survival titles. Building on the success of Shadow of Chernobyl, GSC Game World quickly set out to expand the Stalker universe. In 2008, they released Stalker: Sky, a prequel that delved into the early days of the zone's factional warfare. While the game introduced new mechanics like faction dynamics and improved AI, it suffered from significant bugs and balance issues at launch. Critics and players were divided. Some praised the ambitious additions, while others were frustrated by its punishing difficulty and instability. Despite these flaws, Clear Sky sold well, further solidifying the franchise's status as a major player in the PC gaming world. In the following 2009, GSC released the final entry in the trilogy, Stalker: Call of Pripyat, widely regarded as the most polished and refined entry, and my personal favorite. Call of Pripyat built on the foundations of its predecessors, offering a more stable experience with enhanced mechanics and a strong narrative focus. The game brought players deeper into the heart of the zone, introducing new characters, quests, and dangers. Call of Pripyat was both a critical and commercial success, lauded for fixing the technical issues of its predecessors while maintaining the series' trademark tension, atmosphere, and open-world freedom. By the end of the original trilogy, the Stalker franchise had sold over 4 million copies worldwide. Its legacy extended beyond sales numbers, as it influenced a new wave of survival games, from Metro 2033, created by former GSC developers, to Escape from Tarkov. Modders kept the series alive, creating new content and transforming the games into ever-evolving experiences. GSC had finished the trilogy on an exceptionally high note, with millions of fans eagerly demanding a sequel, but little did anyone knew that GSC Game World was actually approaching the end of its line. The journey of Stalker 2, Heart of Chernobyl, has officially begun in 2010, shortly after the success of Call of Pripyat. The goal was ambitious: to create a sequel that would honor the franchise's legacy while pushing boundaries with modern technology and an even more immersive, dynamic world. However, development quickly ran into trouble as GSC faced financial difficulties and internal conflicts, resulting in frequent delays and uncertainty about the project's future. By 2011, the situation became critical. Rumors circulated that Stalker 2 was on the verge of cancellation, and those fears became reality when GSC announced the shutdown of the project and the closure of the studio in late 2011. The announcement devastated fans and left many wondering if they would ever return to the zone. Yet, despite the setbacks, hope never fully died. In the years that followed, members of the GSC team formed their own studios, creating games like Servarium, Chernobylite, and Metro as a spiritual successor to the Stalker legacy, while the fans kept the dream alive through the modding community and continued interest in the franchise. The Euromaidan protests in Ukraine and the subsequent political turmoil only compounded GSC's struggles. The situation in Ukraine brought uncertainty, disrupting the local economy and affecting businesses across the country. But by 2014, founder Sergei Grigorovich announced GSC's return, and whispers of Stalker 2's revival grew louder. For the next few years, GSC focused on restructuring and rebuilding, working under difficult circumstances to gather the resources needed to bring the franchise back. In 2018, GSC Game World officially announced that Stalker 2 was back in development, reigniting hope and excitement among longtime fans. This time, the vision was even grander. The studio aimed to build a seamless open-world experience, with advanced AI, rich storytelling, and stunning visuals powered by the Unreal Engine 5. The announcement attracted interest from international partners, with Microsoft stepping in to provide financial and technical support. The game was set to be a major showcase title for Xbox and PC, securing its place on the Xbox Game Pass upon release. However, development was anything but smooth. GSC faced the challenges of modern game development, including cyber attacks, leaks, and other disruptions. The team's determination to create a true next-gen Stalker experience pushed them to persevere. The hype around the game continued to grow, fueled by trailers, gameplay showcases, and behind-the-scenes insights into its development. Fans were promised a living zone, more dangerous and unpredictable than ever, with choices that would shape the player's fate and deep moral dilemmas that harkened back to the franchise's philosophical roots. But just as it seemed that the light at the end of the tunnel was within reach, the full-scale war in Ukraine erupted in February 2022. The conflict forced GSC to relocate key personnel, adapt to new working conditions, and grapple with the very real impacts of war on their country. The developers' resilience during this time was nothing short of inspiring. They continued their work amidst air raid sirens, displacement, and unimaginable challenges, driven by their love for the project and their commitment to their homeland. The gaming community rallied around GSC, offering moral and financial support, with fans joking that they would enlist into the Ukrainian army only to make sure that the game stays in development. The story of Stalker 2 became more than just a game. It symbolized the spirit of resilience and the power of creativity even in the darkest times. Microsoft and other industry partners stood by GSC, amplifying their marketing efforts, funding, and resources. Showcases at events like E3 further built anticipation, as each glimpse of Heart of Chernobyl teased a world that was equal parts beautiful, mysterious, and unforgiving. The hype is now at a fever pitch, with the long-awaited release just around the corner. In all honesty, I have been waiting for this game ever since I first played Call of Pripyat, so I have already pre-ordered the Ultimate Edition of the Heart of Chernobyl and prepared to experience the zone. Are you sharing this excitement with me? Then check the link in the description to grab your own copy of Stalker 2 at a huge discount. I am the Games Guru. Loves to all and happy Thanksgiving. I see you all in the next video. Bye bye.